When it comes to postpartum cares, nobody talks about what happens to dad. We're so focused on what happens to mom, which is a lot. A lot happens to mom. There's a chemical imbalance that can happen in the brain. There's a hormonal imbalance that can happen in the body. There's an emotional and psychological change that takes place. But we kind of forget about the man and what happens as you become a father and who are you as a father. And like, we don't really pay attention to you guys that much. So whenever I work with...
in who? The mom or society?
Just humans, society. Yeah, we leave the males out, which, whenever I have a mother come in, and there's a different level of postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. There's postpartum psychosis that can occur if there's any kind of like bipolar disorder or anything like that happening. But whenever I have a female come in who has given birth and is experiencing postpartum symptoms or depressive symptoms, I bring in the husband or the boyfriend because it's important for them to acknowledge the changes that are taking place in their own life. So, and once I do that, they get closer too. So it's nice.
What is the postpartum that men experience?
So it's more of a psychological thing that happens with men, as I see it. So oftentimes they feel very neglected. They don't feel connected to their wife. Why? Because there's a lot of stuff happening in the female's mind and body, and they're bonding with their baby. And so I always tell the males, like, get a hobby, go work out, do stuff. Don't take it personal that your wife is not so attached to you. Other things are happening, like hormonally, her libido might be a little off. And psychologically, if it's her first baby especially, there's a lot of change that happens. And so you just have to kind of understand one another. When it comes to men, it's more of like, how am I going to take care of this family now? Crap, now I have a third person, or fourth if it's their second child. So it's more of a survival thing that happens where it's like, I'm a father, but am I really a father? Because I don't know how to change diapers. I do everything wrong, because typically, and that's one thing I also teach females too. Is like, look, I know you're the mom, but how did you learn how to change a diaper? Like, I don't know. I just kind of did it. And I said, well, I tell them, well, did you ever do it wrong? And they're like, well, yeah, I think so. I'm like, okay, so let your husband do it too, so he can do it wrong a few times and he can learn, but you're not asking for help. And so there's just so much that happens amongst parents that is not talked about. And the men, again, they feel neglected, they feel left out, they want attention and love and affection, but their wife isn't able to give it to them because of so many things that are happening within her. So that's why usually about 3 to 6 years down the line, you'll see a lot of divorces happen because mom and dad typically just kind of drift apart because of the lack of attachment and love and all that stuff.
Did you enjoy that clip? Click over here to watch the full episode and click over here to subscribe to the Wisenuts podcast YouTube channel.